Good day, everyone. Hello. I hope that you can hear me okay and you can see me okay. Just checking. That would be great if I could get the any confirmations from you, any pluses or anything that you can hear me okay, that the life is going fine. Right. Just making sure that you all can hear me. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the day, today's day. The weather is not really great, especially here in Kyiv. It's quite nasty and rainy. But isn't it the great time to be in the office and just to watch some live video from language school? And hopefully just making sure that that works fine. Yeah, so today we're gonna talk about pronunciation, and this is something that not every student is fussing about, and not something that you would be improving firsthand, right? So usually students are focusing on vocabulary and grammar and things like that, but pronunciation is left behind, and not everyone thinks that, oh, this is something I have to improve. So today I'm really happy, and it's my pleasure to be here to be sharing with you some pronunciation tricks. And very shortly, you will find out what kind of tricks I'm talking about. Now, I would like to say a bit more about the project that we're happy to be doing with the language school to contribute to your language expansion, maybe from a little bit different angle, and to, let's say, present some interesting language notions, especially for you guys. So as long as you support us, we will be happy to continue on this tradition. Now, something that I'm going to be looking at today is separate words and phrases that are really mispronounced or pronounced a little bit different from what you would expect in English by the native speakers. And since the session is actually called Sound Like a Native Speaker, this is something that I would really like you to achieve by mispronouncing these words yourself. And I know that this would be a pretty tricky thing for me to teach you, but I hope you will be convinced by the end of the session. Now, I'm sure that you're all aware that the connected speech or fluent speech is quite different from the careful and slow speech. And there are quite a few differences that you might notice. First of all, the sounds might change. The linking sounds appear, the reducing of sounds, and of course some of them are simply omitted. They're simply taken out from the words and phrases, and this is what makes a lot of students confused and perplexed whenever they are listening to native speakers. They can't really comprehend what this or that phrase might mean, or what kind of words are actually put in there. So in order to let's say dispel this myth of English being really incomprehensible language, today I'll try to open up some secrets, and we'll look closer into some interesting pronunciation tricks. All right, so let's move on, and hope you are ready for the first word that we're gonna be looking at is clothes. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Well, I'm a girl, and definitely that was my first choice. And this is the word that I hear very often from my students being mispronounced. Now, clothes. You're supposed to be saying like clothes, or then you contract it to clothes. But from native speakers, you often hear it pronounced as close, like the door that you close. Simple, as simple as that, like clothes. Don't forget that it is plural, so we would say, my clothes are dirty, or I don't like the clothes she's wearing. So simply clothes. All right, let's move on to the next one. That would be comfortable, and that's quite uncomfortable to say it like this, right? Because this is what you want your listeners to do, like to get your ideas quickly. If you pronounce the words correctly, then it's not going to be a fast speech anymore. It's not going to be fluent speech anymore. So this word would be pronounced as comfortable, right? Comfortable. So I am using one of the tricks and using the cat picture to attract a bit of your attention. Now the cat is feeling comfortable, or that couch looks pretty comfortable. Now, comfortable. Of course, you can simply contract it and just use comfy, which is kind of a slang word, but that wouldn't be always suitable in all the cases. Now, let's move on to the next one. February is supposed to be the correct kind of pronunciation, but what you would hear very often is February. For example, we are thinking of going on vacation in February, or February is a nightmare for me, just actually the truth. February is coming, and I hope you guys are ready for winter time. Now, let's move on to the next word. That's going to be family. Now, family is the word for a slow speech, but in the connected speech, you would say family. So the word is basically reduced, and there is no second vowel in there. Just say, that family in the picture looks cute, or I have a big family. Have you got a big family? Yeah, I've got pretty many people in my family. Yeah, family. All right, the next one is going to be library, but you wouldn't say that, right? You would say library, library. And the picture that you can actually witness now is the one that I took. This is the State Library of Victoria in Melbourne. Library is a pretty outdated notion today, isn't it? But still feels really comfortable there. And it's a nice place just to spend a few hours reading. So, library. Now, the next word, I'm sure you guys will come across that one pretty often in your work-related issues. And the full version of the word would be itinerary, right? But no, you wouldn't hear that in a connected speech. You would hear itinerary. Itinerary, like she's planning on the itinerary of our vacation. Or what's the itinerary to that place? Itinerary. Now the next word, these are two words. These are actually numbers. Now we are coming to numbers, and you would probably want it to sound like 70 and 20. And I'm pretty sure that you might have heard before these words being, especially 20, being reduced to this kind of pronunciation. So we've got 20 people in our office, or there are 70 cars parked outside of the office. So 70 and 20. 70, 20. Yeah, the next one would be, these are the adverbs, and exactly, theoretically, that's the pronunciation, but to in this situation is omitted, and the word is reduced. You just say exactly, Exactly. And as you can see in the pronunciation, what I put there, I put there sound because I didn't feel like putting E, because you would then guys say exactly, but it has to be actually, you have to open your mouth and say exactly. So yeah, exactly. You're right. That's exactly what I was saying. Or if you remember one of the phrases that we were looking into the previous time, that was well put. Exactly, that's well put. And a similar one would be properly, but again, no, that would be properly. The let's say the agenda is properly structured, or that's you're so properly prepared for today. That's something I would say to my students. Anyway, let's move on. And there are two more adverbs. One of them is finally. So you do not say finally. No, you would say finally. Finally, we arrived to the destination. Or I finally done it. I finally completed the project. So finally, you're saying this, or now we're talking. Now the next one, and I decided to put the picture there to remind you of the good old times. And not everyone probably can resonate with that. Um, that's the time when cassettes were cassettes and pens would go together in order to rewind or fast forward. So you would have to manually rewind the cassette. All right, so you don't say manually, you'd say manually. Manually rewind the cassette, or I have to manually put the data on my computer. I have to do it manually. All right. Now the next one would be a verb. Now we're coming to the closer to the verbs. So wanted and want it would be pronounced the same way. Like how come? How is that possible? Well, it is. It is. You would say want it. I wanted to do that, but something came up, something urgent came up, and I couldn't finish. Want it. Or if you were looking at the, let's say, range of ice creams with different flavors, you'd say, I wanted, I don't know, chocolate or something like that. So I want it. He wanted to ask me a question, but then he changed his mind. Wanted is the unusual pronunciation of this verb in the past. All right, coming up to another one, asked. Yeah, again, like here you might see the tendency of three consonants being put together, and the one in the middle just is reduced. We're just getting rid of it, and we don't need it. We just say asked. So he asked me a question, and he asked me whether I wanted to see the movie. All right, so asked. Then I've also decided to put a few more phrases in here with the word asked or ask in general, plus the pronoun. So the two pronouns that I would like to focus on are him and her. So in the connected and the fast speech, we do not say him and her, we say him and her, right? Like for example, I asked him. So here we're getting rid of the consonant in the middle, right? So we don't say I asked him, and then we say him. I asked him. I asked him whether he'd like to go out and do something fun over the weekend. So I asked him. Now, another one would be ask in the future. And I really like this one because it reminds of the pronunciation for the country. And that sounds like Alaska. And that does kind of ring a bell. That kind of reminds you of Alaska, right? So let's say Alaska tomorrow. And I don't know now. I guess she's busy now, so I'll ask her tomorrow. I'll ask her, and I asked him. Yeah, I hope, guys, that this is not too mind-blowing so far, and you're gonna be using those. Now, another one that I'm sure you heard before, it's I don't know, right? We don't say I don't know. Just say I don't know. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I'm gonna be there. I don't know if I can make it. I hope you remember what it means. I don't know if I can make it. Coming closer to one more. Now here, I like to focus on the sound j, which is formed with the fusion of d and y sounds coming together. So here we have would you, which becomes would you, and did you, which becomes did you. So like here we have a question. Would you rather be a ninja or be a pirate? Yeah, I'm gonna leave that question up to you though. Ninja, in that this is the same sound, so j, right? Would you rather, or would you like to see a movie tonight? Would you like to have a cup of coffee? Did you? The same. That's the same thing. You don't say did you read a book last night? No, you would say did you? Did you have a good weekend? And don't forget that. And the last similar one is going to be ch sound. In this situation, that is t plus y forms ch. So for example, don't you? Like here we have a question. Don't you know that? Don't you guys know that don't you is supposed to be pronounced like that? Don't you? Now, another example of that would be I want you to do something. I want you to tell me the truth. I want you to finish the report by the end of the day. So don't you and want you. Now, to recap, please guys don't be too scared with the side of this huge text. This is just something I compiled for you to copy paste and probably print to have it handy on your table and whenever you're on your own, just to practice a little bit. Because practice makes perfect, and there is nothing more important than practicing your pronunciation, repeating after some recordings or movies, or even just reading the text like that, where you already know how certain words have to be pronounced. So let me just quickly read it, and I do hope that you can see the whole text, but if not, I'm gonna just post it under the video. So I asked him if skiing was something he and his family wanted to do next February. He thought for about 20 seconds and finally answered, I don't know, because my wife is in charge of itinerary for our holiday, and she plans things properly and prefers taking up exactly the same activities year after year for us to feel more comfortable. The only thing I have to do is pack my clothes and print the tickets in the local library. Would you like to come with us one day? Now, hopefully, guys, this was very useful for you and practical. Definitely would love to hear a promise that you would practice this on your own and read through this piece of text a few times just to remember and to have it sit in your memory. Remember that this kind of speaking, fast speaking, lends you into the fluent speech, the connected speech, and you will definitely sound more like a native. This is it for today, guys, and I was really happy to be here with you. Please stay tuned, follow our live announcements, our live sessions, and we'll be happy to prepare something really cool for you next time. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. Have a good one.